I am Lisa.
And I'm Eric. Do you want to improve your English easily? If so, you're in the right place.
Okay, today we'll listen to a podcast about how to build an English brain.
Let's listen to it.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Learn English with Mark and Emma.
Hi, listeners. Today, we're talking about something really interesting, building your English brain.
English brain? What's that?
It means thinking directly in English without translating from your native language. It's like teaching your brain to work in English automatically.
That sounds useful. Why is it important?
It helps you speak faster, understand better, and feel more confident in real-life situations.
Great. Let's dive into 5 methods to build your English brain.
First up, let's talk about thought chains. Have you heard of them, Mark?
Not really. What are they?
It's a simple but powerful way to practice thinking in English. Start with a word and let your ideas come naturally. For example, if I say coffee, what comes to your mind?
Okay. Coffee, brown, then mornings and work. Like that?
Exactly. It's like a chain of connected ideas. This helps your brain get used to thinking in English without stopping to translate.
That's really cool. How can our listeners practice this?
Start with an easy word like food, then build a chain. For example, food, pizza, and then Italy, travel, and adventures.
Oh, I love that. It's like playing a game.
Yes, and the best part is, you can do this anywhere. In your head, while walking, or even while waiting in line.
Great tip, Emma. Let's challenge our listeners. Choose a word today and make your own thought chain. Write it down or say it out loud.
Perfect. And remember, the more you practice, the easier it gets to think in English.
Emma, the second method is building an English autopilot. What does that mean?
It's about training your brain to respond in English automatically. Think of it as teaching your brain very common phrases for common situations.
Oh, like when someone asks, "How are you?" and you automatically say, "I'm good, thanks. How about you?"
Exactly. You don't have to think too hard. These phrases become natural, like reflexes.
That sounds helpful. How can our listeners get started?
Start with simple, common phrases like, "Let me think about it," or "What do you mean by that?" Practice saying them until they feel natural.
And then move to longer phrases, right?
Yes. For example, try, "Can you explain that in more detail?" or "Could you give me an example?" These are useful in conversations and help you sound confident.
I like it. So, if I practice these often, I won't stop in conversations.
Exactly. You'll respond automatically, and your brain will have more space to focus on other parts of the conversation.
Great tip, Emma. Listeners, pick a few phrases today and practice saying them aloud. Write them down if it helps.
Yes, practice is key. Soon, your English autopilot will start working naturally.
Let's move on to method 3, using metaphors and analogies. Emma, why are these important?
Metaphors make your English more colorful and engaging. They help you express ideas as native speakers do.
Can you give us an example?
Sure. Instead of saying, "It's hot," you could say, "It feels like I'm in a sauna." See how that paints a picture?
Oh, I get it. Instead of "I'm tired," I could say, "I feel like a battery that needs charging."
Using metaphors like these builds your vocabulary and helps you express emotions and ideas more naturally.
How can listeners practice this?
Start small. Take common phrases and rethink them. For example, instead of "I'm busy," try, "I'm juggling 10 things at once."
That's fun. It's like playing with words.
Yes, and it makes learning more exciting. Write down a few metaphors today and try using them in conversations.
Great advice, Emma. Let's challenge our listeners. Think of one metaphor to describe how you feel today.
Good idea, Mark. And remember, practice makes progress.
Now let's talk about method 4, reframing emotions in English. Emma, why is this important?
It's a great way to connect emotionally with the language. When you describe your feelings in English, it helps you build a deeper connection with the words.
That makes sense. So, how can our listeners start doing this?
One easy way is to think about your day and describe how you felt, but in English. For example, instead of saying, I felt happy, you could say, I was over the moon today.
I like that. What if someone feels nervous about making mistakes?
That's okay. Start simple. Even saying, I feel good or I feel tired is a great start. You can expand later.
Writing can help too, right?
Definitely. Try writing simple daily notes like, I'm improving my English every day. It's motivating and helps build confidence.
Listeners, try describing your emotions in English today. Don't worry about being perfect. Just practice.
Yes, and remember, the more you practice, the more natural it feels.
Let's move to method 5, simulating English-only situations. Emma, what does that mean?
It means pretending you're in an English-speaking environment. For example, imagine ordering food in a restaurant or asking for help in a store, all in English.
That sounds fun. How can our listeners try this?
One idea is to pause a TikTok video or YouTube clip and think, what would I say here? You can also role play with a friend or even by yourself.
Great idea. It's like making your own little English world.
Exactly. It's fun and it helps you prepare for real-life conversations.
Okay, well, that's it for today, everyone. We've shared 5 methods to help you build your English brain.
Remember, it's all about practice and consistency. Start with small steps and don't worry about being perfect.
You've got this. Keep practicing, and soon, thinking in English will feel natural.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.
It was a very useful podcast. They talked about building an English brain. It's such an interesting concept.
Yes, Lisa, I liked the part about thought chains. It's a simple way to practice thinking in English. I think these methods are perfect for anyone trying to improve their English.
Agreed. We should encourage our listeners to try them out.
Definitely.
All right, let's start our podcast. What are the words today, Eric?
The first word today is engaging. Then we will continue with chain and to juggle. Then get used to something or somebody. And the final one is to be over the moon.
Let's start with the first word.
The first word is engaging.
Engaging.
Engaging is an adjective, and it means interesting, attractive, or able to keep people's attention.
When something is engaging, you don't get bored with it.
Here's a simple example. The movie was so engaging that I didn't want it to end. That means the movie was so interesting that people really enjoyed watching it. Can you give another example, Lisa?
Sure. The professor gave such an engaging lecture that no one fell asleep.
It means the lecture was so interesting that it kept everyone's attention. Now let's talk about how to use this word. Engaging is an adjective that we can use to describe many things. We can say an engaging book, an engaging game, or an engaging person.
So, Eric, would you say engaging is a formal or informal word?
It's more on the formal side, but we can use it in any situation. It's quite common, especially when talking about entertainment, social media, or teaching. It's better than just saying good or nice.
Okay, I think we've covered engaging pretty well. Shall we move on to our next word?
Let's do that. The next word is chain.
Chain.
The word chain is a noun. It means a series of connected metal links. For example, you can see chains on bicycles, or people wear gold chains as jewelry.
Oh, like the chain I wear around my neck sometimes. It has a small heart on it.
Exactly. Chains can also have a more practical use. For example, a heavy chain might be used to lock something like a bike.
So, are there other meanings, Eric?
Good question, Lisa. Yes, chain can also mean a group of things that are connected. For example, a chain of stores means many stores owned by the same company. Think of popular fast food restaurants like McDonald's or Subway. They are part of a chain.
So when we say chain of stores, we mean many shops that are connected, like a big network.
Exactly.
Can we talk about some common phrases with chain, Eric?
Sure. One popular phrase is chain reaction. This means a series of events where one thing causes the next. For example, the small mistake caused a chain reaction of problems.
Oh, I like that.
There's also break the chain, which means to stop something, like a bad habit. For example, we need to break the chain of bad decisions.
So many useful phrases. Okay, I think we've explained chain pretty well. Let's move on to the next word.
The next word is to juggle.
To juggle.
The word juggle is a verb, and it has a couple of interesting meanings. Let's start with the most basic one. To juggle means to throw and catch several objects, like balls or pins, in the air, keeping at least one in the air at all times.
Oh, like what clowns do in a circus. I've always wanted to learn how to juggle.
Yes, exactly. This is the literal meaning of juggle. But did you know that to juggle has another meaning?
Oh, really? What's the second meaning?
Well, we also use juggle when we talk about managing many tasks or responsibilities at the same time. For example, I'm juggling work, school, and family responsibilities.
So in this sense, it means doing a lot of things at once, just like juggling balls in the air.
That's a perfect way to put it, Lisa. And this second meaning is very common in everyday conversations. Another example sentence is, she's juggling 2 jobs and taking care of her kids.
What about formality, Eric?
It's neutral. In a formal setting, you might say, I'm juggling multiple projects at work. In an informal one, you could say, he's juggling too much right now. He needs a break, which means he has too many responsibilities.
Got it. I think our followers understand to juggle now. Let's move on to the next word.
The next word is get used to.
Get used to.
Get used to means to become familiar with something, especially if it's new or feels strange at first. For example, if you move to a new country, at first it's new and maybe difficult, but over time it becomes normal or comfortable.
Oh, that makes sense.
Let's look at how it works in sentences. After get used to, we always use a noun, a pronoun, or a verb in its ing form. For example, I'm getting used to my new job, or she got used to waking up early.
That's a good grammar tip.
Remember, after get used to, the verb always ends in ing. It's a common mistake to forget that.
Got it. Let me give some examples. It took me a while, but I got used to living in a big city. And for the future, you could say, you'll get used to it soon.
Perfect examples, Lisa.
And how formal is get used to, Eric?
It's neutral. For example, in a formal setting, I'm getting used to the new company policy. In an informal setting, it's hard, but I'll get used to it.
Perfect. Are there any related phrases or expressions?
Yes, Lisa. A common related phrase is be used to. This means you're already familiar with something. For example, I'm used to spicy food now.
Oh, so get used to is about the process of becoming familiar, but be used to means you've already adapted?
Exactly.
Wow, those are so useful. Let's give a few more examples. Here's one. She's getting used to her new neighbors.
Nice. Here's another one. It's not easy to get used to cold weather if you're from a warm country.
Okay. Well, that's the phrase get used to. Let's move on to the last word. What is the last word, Eric?
The last word is to be over the moon.
To be over the moon.
This is an idiom, and it means to be very, very happy about something. If you are over the moon, It's like your happiness is so big that you feel like you're flying high in the sky.
Oh, like when someone gets a new job they really wanted, they might say, "I'm over the moon."
That's a perfect example. Here's another. She was over the moon when she passed her English test. This means she felt really happy and excited because she passed.
Here's one more. They were over the moon about their new baby. This means the parents were so happy to have their new baby.
A quick tip. This phrase is informal and used in friendly conversations. It's great for showing big emotions, but you wouldn't usually use it in a formal letter or email.
Yes, it's definitely a fun and expressive phrase to use with friends or family when you're feeling really happy. Okay. Well, that's it for today's episode of Simply Explained English. We hope you found the words helpful and the explanations easy to understand.
Thanks for listening. Keep studying your English.
And stay tuned. Bye for now. I am Lisa.
And I'm Eric. Do you want to improve your English easily? If so, you're in the right place.
Okay, today we'll listen to a podcast about how to use technology to learn English.
Let's listen to it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Mark.
And I'm Emma. Today, we're talking about learning English vocabulary in a new and exciting way.
Yes, we'll explore how technology can help you learn new words more easily and effectively.
Exactly. Let's start our journey to smarter vocabulary learning.
So, Emma, the first important step is setting goals. It's better to stick to learning a few words well than to try to learn many and forget them quickly. What's a good number, do you think, Emma?
For most people, 5 words every day can make a big difference over time. What do you think?
5 words sound perfect. So the first goal is to learn 5 new words every day.
And the second thing is to think about what kind of words you want to learn. What do you need English for?
That's a great point. Are you learning English for work, for school, or just for fun? So it's important to choose a focus area. For example, someone could focus on technology words or food words.
Yes. Think about what's important or interesting to you. This will make learning more useful and more fun.
Okay. First, decide to learn 5 new words every day. Second, choose a focus area for your vocabulary, like business, daily life, or travel.
Okay, Mark, but how do we actually choose which words to learn? It can feel a bit overwhelming, right?
It can, but technology can really help here. Have you tried using AI chatbots to find words?
Chatbots? Like for language learning?
Yes. You can ask them things like, "Can you suggest 5 useful English words for intermediates?" Or, "Give me some B1 level words about daily life."
That's smart. And what happens then?
The chatbot will give you words and definitions, including example sentences. It's a super easy way to get started.
Cool.
Exactly. Suggest 5 important English words about travel with example sentences, or give me words related to technology.
Fantastic. So chatbots are like word helpers.
Exactly. They make choosing words much easier and faster.
Okay, chatbots are great for finding words, but how do we remember them? Just writing them in a notebook isn't very exciting.
You're right. That's where flashcards come in, but not paper flashcards, digital flashcards.
Digital flashcards? Tell me more.
There are amazing apps like Quizlet, Anki, and Memrise. You can make your own flashcards on your phone or computer.
And how do they work?
It's easy. You take the words and example sentences from the chatbot and put them into the app. You can even add pictures to your flashcards.
Oh, visuals are great for remembering, and flashcard apps make learning more interactive and fun.
Definitely. And they're much better than just writing words in a notebook.
It sounds great. But how often should we actually use them? Do I need to spend hours every day?
No, definitely not hours. The secret is short, regular review. Just 5 minutes a day can make a huge difference.
5 minutes? Really? That doesn't sound like much.
It's about how you review, not how long. Flashcard apps use something called spaced repetition.
Spaced repetition? What's that?
It's a smart system. The app shows you words you're about to forget more often, and words you know well less often. It's like magic for your memory.
Whoa, so the software figures out when I need to review without any effort on my part?
Exactly. You just need to open the app for a few minutes a few times a day.
Okay, that sounds manageable. But just reviewing flashcards might get a little boring, maybe?
You're right. Variety is good. Here's another tech trick. This is very important.
What is it, Mark?
Ask an AI chatbot to write a short reading passage using your 10 newest flashcard words.
A reading passage? How would that help?
It's a fun way to see your new words in context. The chatbot can write a 3-minute or 5-minute story or article using those words.
That's a brilliant idea. So 5 minutes with flashcards, and maybe another 5 minutes reading a short passage with my new words. That's still not much time each day.
Exactly. Short and consistent practice is much more effective than long, irregular study sessions.
Okay, daily review is important. What about actually using the words?
You need to practice writing and speaking with your new vocabulary. But don't worry, it doesn't have to be scary.
Scary? Speaking English can be a little scary for some people.
I know, but we can use technology to make it easier. Let's start with writing. Once a week, try to write a short paragraph using the words you learned that week.
A paragraph about anything?
Anything you want, maybe about your day, hobbies, or weekend plans. Use some of your new terms. Not everything must be perfect.
Okay, I can try that. And then what?
Then, review your writing with an AI chatbot. Copy and paste your paragraph into the chatbot to receive corrections, like a free English teacher.
That's so helpful. No more worrying about making mistakes.
Exactly. And for speaking practice, you can use voice assistants like Siri Google Assistant or speech recognition apps.
How would that work?
Have mini conversations with them. Ask them questions, tell them about your day, or just practice saying your new vocabulary words out loud. Some apps can even give you feedback on your pronunciation.
So I can practice speaking English even when I'm alone?
Yes, it's a great way to build confidence and practice using your new words and sentences. Just 5 to 10 minutes of speaking practice a week can make a big difference.
We're learning new words, reviewing them, and practicing writing and speaking. How do we track our progress?
That's a great question, Emma. It's important to see how far you've come. A simple way is to make a note of which words you find easy and which ones are still hard for you.
Just in a notebook?
Yes, or on your phone. Make a list of words you can use easily, and make another list of words you still struggle with. This helps you see what you've learned and what you need to practice more.
That makes sense. So, focus on the words I find difficult.
Exactly. Once a week, look at your difficult words list. Ask a chatbot to write a short reading passage again using those words. This gives you extra practice with the words you struggle with.
And at the end of the week, I can see how many words moved from the difficult list to the easy list.
Yes, that's a great way to see your progress and stay motivated.
I like this method, Mark. Especially asking AI chatbots to write a story using words I study and make difficult words and easy word lists.
Yes, technology offers many great tools, from chatbots to flashcard apps.
And remember to track your progress and celebrate your successes. Learning vocabulary can be fun and effective with these tech tips.
Absolutely. Start small, be consistent, and enjoy your English learning journey.
Thanks for joining us today.
Goodbye, and happy learning.
I really liked using AI chatbots to learn vocabulary.
Yes, it's such a practical method, especially the part about writing a short reading passage with new words.
Exactly. Seeing words in context makes them so much easier to learn.
Totally agree. Maybe one day we can ask the chatbot to write a passage for us and see what it comes up with.
Great idea, Lisa. AI really is making language learning more exciting and accessible.
All right, let's start our podcast. What are the words today, Eric?
The first word today is be related to. Then we will continue with to track and struggle with. Then stick to. And the final one is be about to do something.
Let's start with the first word.
The first word is related to.
Related to.
Related is an adjective. It means connected or linked to something else. For example, two ideas, topics, or people can be related when they have something in common.
Oh, like when people are part of the same family, they're related.
That's a good example, Lisa. Here's another one. The movie and the book are related because they tell the same story. Here, related means the movie and book are connected because of their story.
So related can be about family or other types of connections.
Yes, Lisa. We can also use it in this way. For example, the questions in the test are all related to history. This means that the questions are all about history.
Or, my job is related to marketing. This means my job is connected to marketing in some way, like working with ads or helping sell products.
Now, let's talk a bit about how to use related in sentences. You can use it with to show the connection. For example, related to science or related to work.
Also, remember that related can describe people too. For example, my cousin and I are related. It means we are from the same family.
That's right. And it's easy to remember because related always shows a connection between ideas, topics, or people.
Okay, well, I think now our followers understand the word related better. Shall we move on to the next word?
Let's do that. The next word is to track.
To track.
To track is a verb. It has many meanings, but we will focus on one of them today. To track means to follow or watch the progress of something. For example, you might track a package, track your steps, or track your goals.
Oh, like when I check my phone to track my fitness steps. That's using to track.
Exactly. Here's an example. I use an app to track my spending. This means I use an app to follow how much money I spend.
How about this one? The teacher tracks the students' progress in class. This means the teacher watches and records how well the students are doing.
Great example, Lisa.
I have a question, Eric. Can we use to track for physical things like a person or an object?
Great question. Yes, we can. For example, the police are tracking the suspect. Or, I tracked my package online to see when it will arrive.
So, it works for both ideas, following changes and following actual objects or people.
That's right. It's a very flexible word. So, whenever you hear to track, think about watching something carefully or keeping a record of it.
Okay. Well, I think now our followers understand the phrase to track better. Let's move on to the next word.
The next word is to struggle.
To struggle.
To struggle is a verb. It means to have a hard time doing something or to try very hard when something is difficult. For example, you might struggle with a task, a problem, or even learning a new skill.
Oh, like when I was learning to ride a bike, I struggled to keep my balance.
That's a perfect example, Lisa. Here's another one. He struggles to wake up early in the morning. This means it's difficult for him to get up early.
Here's one more. She struggled to finish her homework because it was so hard. This means she tried really hard to finish it, but it wasn't easy.
Yes, Lisa, it's about facing challenges.
I see. Okay, what about grammar points, Eric?
To struggle is often followed by the word with when talking about a problem or difficulty, like struggle with math. You can also use it with to plus a verb like struggle to understand. And you can use it in both formal and informal situations. It's neutral.
Okay, got it. And as far as I know, we can also use struggle as a noun, right?
Yes, we can, Lisa. For example, learning English was a struggle for me at first, or police said there were no signs of a struggle.
Okay, well, that's it for the word struggle. Let's move on to the next word.
The next word is stick to.
Stick to.
Stick to is a phrasal verb. It means to continue doing something without changing it, even if it's hard. You can stick to a plan, a decision, or even a goal.
Oh, it's like staying focused on one thing or following a plan. For example, I'll stick to my exercise routine this year. It means I'll keep doing it, no matter what.
Exactly. Here's another example. He sticks to his diet because he wants to stay healthy. This means he follows his diet and doesn't give up.
It sounds like stick to is about being consistent.
That's right. It's often used when talking about habits, rules, or plans.
Okay, let me give another example. They decided to stick to the rules during the game. This means they followed the rules and didn't change them.
Perfect, Lisa.
Let's talk about grammar. What's special about stick to?
After stick to, you usually add a noun or a plan, like stick to your schedule or stick to your promise.
I see. And it's a great phrase to use when talking about being disciplined or consistent. For example, if you stick to your studies, you'll improve quickly.
That's right. So whenever you hear stick to, think about keeping doing something and not changing it.
Okay, well, I think we've reached the last word today. What is today's last word, Eric?
The last word is be about to do something.
Be about to do something.
Be about to do something means that you are going to do something very soon, like in the next moment.
Oh, so it's used when something is just about to happen?
Exactly. If I say, I'm about to leave, it means I'm leaving very soon, maybe in the next minute. For example, I am about to start. She is about to eat lunch.
I see. Here's an example. I was about to leave the house when it started raining. Is that correct?
Yes, Lisa. That means I was ready to leave, but the rain stopped me.
Okay. What's the grammar behind be about to do something, Eric?
The structure is be plus about to plus a verb. For example, I am about to go, she is about to start, or we were about to finish. And remember, this phrase is great for talking about things that will happen in the near future. It's like saying almost ready to happen.
So whenever you hear be about to do something, think of something that's going to happen very soon.
Yes, Lisa. And it's a neutral phrase, so you can use it in both formal and informal situations.
Okay, well, that's it for today's episode of Simply Explained English. We hope you found the words helpful and the explanations easy to understand.
Thanks for listening. Keep studying your English.
And stay tuned. Bye for now.